Linguini dryer, and this is The Good Life with VeegMama, where I cook it up with movers and shakers who are helping people to live their best life. Today I have a very special guest, Miss August McLaughlin, who is a female empowerment goddess and the creator of the brand and radio show Girl Boner. And I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
You are such an amazing guest, and I am so into everything you're about and lifting us up and making a difference and helping us embrace who we are and really love ourselves. And really in a culture where it's hard to be women, right? Like it's hard to be proud and secure with our body image and all this stuff. So I am so excited to talk about Girl Boner, radio and the brand and the movement and everything.
Yay.
And and of course, to cook it up, we are making something very special inspired by Girl Boner, the brand. We are making spicy #Girl Boner Linguini. So this is going to be a really fun show today, a little spicy, a little sassy, and we're going to do a little bit of cooking, obviously. So, of course, you can go to VeegMama.com. The link is over in the YouTube little window below. Make sure you go back to the blog and you can get the full recipe and more background on August and all the links to her show and her website and everything. So as far as the recipe, it is a pasta dish using one of my favorite faux meat products, which is Beyond Meat's chicken-free strips. And this is gluten-free, which is awesome, and cholesterol-free and non-GMO and all that great stuff. And so we're going to be using that as our chicken, which as I was making this and creating this, I actually realized you could do this really nicely with portobello mushrooms as well, which is kind of like my vegan steak. I love to use that.
So delicious.
It's so good. So this season, we're going to make a Creole season blend, and that's going to go on the chicken and some vegetables, and it's just really delicious over some linguine. This is inspired by the spiciness of August's brand, and is actually a dish that I used to create for my husband in our pre-vegan days, and it was something that I made for him as kind of like our little romantic evenings, if you will. So I knew it was always, the stomach is a way to my man's heart. So he always loved this. So I was very excited to get to reinvent this vegan style for him. So let's get started with the seasoning blend. And as we do, why don't you introduce and tell us a little bit about Girl Boner, the brand and everything?
Sure. Well, Girl Boner is it started out as a blog series, actually. And I knew I wanted to speak up and share some empowering information about female sexuality. For a long time I wanted to. And I actually realized during my previous career, I was working as a model, and I was living in Paris, kind of at the height of a seemingly glamorous career, right?
Yeah.
It was, in some ways, for sure. But I grew very, very sick with an eating disorder. And nearly died from it, and which is very common in our culture, but especially in that industry.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 18 when I was diagnosed.
Okay.
It's one of those conditions where you don't really know when it starts and stops exactly. It's gradual, but I became very, very sick when I was living in Paris, and I realized during my recovery process that one of the most important changes I had to make was to embrace my whole body, embrace my sexuality, and I realized that the lack of sexual empowerment played a huge role in the development of my disease. It's one thing to be sexually active. It's a completely different thing to actually embrace your sexuality, love your whole body, not think that, there's something shameful about that. So I tied it into Girl Boner because it's always been one of my favorite phrases ever since I was about 11 years old. It says a lot about me, but I was in elementary school, and in sex ed we learned about we learned about male sexual pleasure. For women, we learned about tampons and maxi pads and cramps and diseases.
We are so lucky. We're so lucky as girls, the stuff we get to learn about versus the boys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's limited for the guys too, but at least they get to know that something feels good.
Yeah.
And like for us, at least for me, and I grew up in Minnesota. I know every community is a bit different, but there are really themes of this throughout our entire culture and our sex ed system. It's all about abstinence of disease. And nothing but pleasure, which is really so important to embrace. So,
good for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, as soon as somebody told me what a boner was, I became fascinated with like the equivalent for women, right? Like, what is a girl boner is what my first thought was. So I was wondering about it for a very long time before I realized what it was. And then when I decided to do something about it, I just felt very compelled because I moved fully past my eating disorder, which is totally, totally doable for so many people. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. But I was determined to move past it. And once I did, I was just so excited to be able to talk about this topic. And it's really, my tagline is where good girls go for sexual empowerment. Because
I love that. I love that because, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like there is a stigma. Like if we are embracing our sexuality and we are sexy, doesn't have to be nasty sexy, then we're bad. We're bad girls.
There's
So
really no... I have not really heard anybody pairing sexuality with good for women.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it's not that the bad girls are actually bad.
Yeah.
But there is this polarized idea that you're either a slut, which, I hate that word, or you're a prude. And we're expected to be, you know, these perfect women who are sexual in the right way, you know, and I just think that's unfair. So my goal is to have a really fun, celebratory, educational experience, and I approach it more as, I'm a health and sexuality writer, so everything I present is research-based, but I also tie in lots of personal experience, my own, other people's, and the blog actually, fortunately, became so successful, people were really into the topic. I was lucky that way, and it led to a radio show. Yay. So now it's kind of like...
Which is amazing. You guys have to check this out. If you have like a smartphone, this is how I listened to it, was on podcast app. And you can subscribe that way. How else can we subscribe to it?
You can find it on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Global Voice, which is a web radio channel. The easiest way to find those links, you can just go to my website, augustmclaughlin.com, and click on radio. And it has direct links. So you can subscribe. That way they always appear in your podcast app. But the app makes it really easy.
Yeah. So the blog inspired the radio show.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking for a radio show. I just was having a lot of fun with Girl Boner and started getting asked to appear on other people's radio shows. And one of those interviews with Dr. Lisa from The Doctors, she now has a show called Health in Heels, which is awesome. And after the show, the producers asked me if I wanted a show.
Oh my
And it took me about like -2 seconds to be like, yeah! You know, I just loved it. So it's been fun. It's over a year old. We celebrated a year in January.
And you have had some great guests. I mean, Margaret Cho, Alexandra Paul, we were just talking about that. You guys have got to check this out. Who's been your favorite guest so far?
Oh
and what
gosh.
are some of the things you talk about? I mean, you pull from everybody, right? It's not like you have a certain target of, I mean, Margaret
I try
Cho,
to be all-inclusive. Like,
Yeah.
I don't judge sexuality at all. So I want to be open to all spiritual beliefs, all sexual beliefs, everything. Because I just feel like we should, you know, it's just a natural part of ourselves. And however we express it is great. So it's hard to choose a favorite. Alexandra Paul was awesome, partly because we both have history in the film and fashion business and also with eating disorders. So it was really a fascinating discussion. Anyone who's an activist, I'm always just very passionate about talking to. And all of my guests, even the entertainers in the adult industry, I had the first transsexual porn star. She is incredible, incredible. Mia Isabella. She's become the first sex symbol icon who speaks out and advocates for transsexual kids, you know, and she's gone more mainstream now, but I just think it's important that we respect, you know, however she chooses. For her, that career saved her life. Perhaps my favorite guest was my mom, though. I did not ever imagine I would interview her, you know.
Wow.
And it was amazing because she was visiting from Minnesota. And I know that my family's supportive of whatever I do because they're awesome that way. But they're not as outspoken as me about this. Not many people are, but my family especially it's just not really in their nature to be talking about sexuality so much. And my mom just sat down at the mic when I was having her visit the station. I was like, do you want to chat? She's like, sure. And she shared about her experiences with sex ed. She grew up in India. She was a missionary's kid. So that was fascinating to me and a really meaningful experience because to have their support, you know, just means everything. Especially because, you know, it can be considered controversial. It is considered controversial.
So fun.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely check out Girl Boner Radio. We'll have the links for you. Let's get started with the recipe. So this is a Cajun blend, and I am using all seasonings from Penzi Spices, which is, I'm lucky, I have one really close to me. You can also order online. I love Penzi Spices. They're just really fresh, and it's a family-owned business. I really love this brand. But obviously, you can use whatever brand you love, but I did want to point them out because I do love them. And we're going to make our own blend, but because I am a busy mom, I also wanted to point out, you could buy a pre-made Cajun seasoning blend, which Penzies does happen to have. But part of the fun for me when I'm in the kitchen is to create my own stuff. So I did put my own blend together. But again, this would work just as fine and this is an actually really simple, quick recipe. You could probably have it done within 20 minutes, including the boiling the water for the pasta. And if you used a season blend mix, you would have it done like even quicker, because this is the most work right here, you guys.
Oh my gosh, it smells
the seasoning
amazing.
blend.
I can't even tell you.
I love it. And we got the garlic and so let me take you through 1 small onion, 1 clove of garlic. Let me put that in here. And I know I'm not supposed to use the blade to scoop up, but
Could you use the minced garlic?
I kind of, yeah, you could use minced garlic too if you didn't want to get your hands all yucky. And I'm going to show you later, we're going to use some more garlic in this because I love garlic, and I'll show you my little secret for getting the skins off. We have a teaspoon of paprika, which is this.
All right. So
August is a nutritionist as well, so you're no stranger to the kitchen, which is fun.
But I'm a very messy chef, so if things go flying, that's why.
We've got a half a teaspoon of the cumin seed, ground cumin seed. Half a teaspoon of mustard powder, half a teaspoon of the cayenne, and then we've got a teaspoon of thyme. Go ahead and put the oregano in there, and then the salt. So you just want to give this a little zhuzh around. Okay, I did want to mention that I am using vegetable broth today and no oil, no butter, although I do love my earth balance, but I just read The Vegetarian Diet by Juliana Hever, and I am like a believer in no oil now because I've just seen some really fun health benefits of it. So I've been 4 weeks really avoiding oil as much as possible. Although like I said, I do love earth balance. So if you wanted to use a little earth balance or olive oil, you could. But what I would do is add 6 tablespoons of vegetable broth in here, and I would add my onions and get those going. And then when those are heated up, I would add the chicken. So we're just going to cut them up into about 2-inch pieces. Okay. Look, and it looks just like chicken. I mean, it really does. Now, there are some vegs who don't like to eat the faux meats. And you know what, I'm not a big fan of eating them all the time, like everything in moderation. But this is a really great product. Like I said, it's cholesterol-free, non-GMO. It's gluten-free. So it's a really good product. And if you are craving like a chicken type product, this is a great brand to use. And you can get this at Whole Foods. So you're just going to cut that into like 2-inch little chunks. Okay. And we'll put that in the pan. Perfect.
All right. Here we go.
So pretend this is sizzling.
We need our sound effects.
We need our sound effects together.
Here we go. Wow. It's nice and easy to slice through.
It smells really good.
And you know what? It is a lot like chicken, but it doesn't feel like chicken.
So now go ahead and sprinkle that in there. And we can just get it all.
So pretty.
Doesn't it look pretty?
Yeah.
It smells so good. I wish you all could smell this.
It does. Maybe someday there'll be a way where we push a button and
I know. Smell
pouring out
vision.
the screen. Here we go.
So you're just going to put that in like that. And you'll cook this for just about 3 minutes to soften. The chicken's already cooked through, so you're just softening the onion. And then we're going to add in all of these other yummy vegetables. So I'm going to chop up, we're going to do a yellow and a red bell pepper. And we're going to do, my tomatoes were kind of small. You really only need 1 like medium-sized tomato, but this came out, these were so small. They're so pretty. These are from Trader Joe's, the organic ones on the stem. I love that. Nice. And you're just going to peel these and chop that, and you're going to put that in there along with 2 cloves of garlic and the juice of 1 lemon and some Worcestershire sauce. And it's so good.
You say that so well. I always go Worcestershire sauce.
Oh,
it's like a difficult word.
Lots of practice. So let me show you how I peel a garlic clove. Awesome. And this is where I get all my aggressions out, because you put it down like this and you just kind of give it a whack. See, like that? I think Rachel Ray taught me that. Okay, so I'm going to chop. August, why don't you tell us some more about the movement behind Girl Boner? And because you are an activist, and I think that's something else that really drew me to you, is that you have this amazing brand, which it sounds great. It has a great marketing angle. You're doing these great things with the show, but there's an activist side of it, and also maybe talk about the blog fest you have coming up too, because that's actually airing today or starting today. When
it launched today.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us about that, and I'll just keep chopping here.
Yeah, and I don't know if when I started calling myself an activist, or if it was somebody else who said it first, but ever since I was a little kid, I just like a lot of people wanted to help people. So for me, my work has to feel really impassioned for me, I'm not somebody who can kind of like do something that I'm kind of like, oh, this is okay. I'm kind of an all or nothing person when it comes to work. And I really believe that we can make a huge, beautiful difference in the world simply by following our passions and being authentic. And authenticity for me means speaking up about all these things. So I do a lot of public speaking, and I host this blog fest. It's called the Beauty of a Woman Blog Fest. And this is our 4th year, and it's real beauty themed, but there is a sexuality category, a girl boner category. So people basically write a blog post about, anything that they associate with true beauty. And it's so inspiring. The people who participate are always amazing, and it reaches a lot of people every year. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy that quite a bit. But Girl Boner is also a hashtag that I use on Twitter, on the Facebook page. And I try to keep the conversations really fun. And so it's entertaining, but it's also, I want people to go away feeling more authentic, more excited about themselves.
Yes.
And more, it's about being aroused about your whole life. Not just
I love that. Being aroused about your whole life, not just in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I bet you've used that you've got to have used that before.
I've said it in different ways.
I love that. I love that. That's going to be like my quote.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm honored. That's awesome. But it's true. I think our sexuality really is, a natural extension of how we feel about the world and how we feel about ourselves in the world, more importantly. So self-care is everything. And that's something I certainly had to learn, going through the eating disorder and
how did you, let's get personal. How did you, I think to talk about being sexually empowered is one thing. So what are some things that women can do to help empower ourselves and to kind of break out of this stereotype that we've been told we're naughty girls if we embrace our sexuality?
That's a really good question. And you just brought up one of them, which is change your language. Okay. Don't call sex naughty and dirty and bad. Don't say anything negative about your body. And what happens when you stop talking negatively about your body is you start thinking more positively about your body, which is the next step, which is turning those negative thoughts around.
Okay.
Starting open communication with your lover, your partner, if you have one, but also understanding your own sexuality. I think, self-stimulation is really important, knowing what turns you on, trying new things, all of that. But the biggest thing is the attitude shift, like recognizing where you are in that journey and deciding whether you want to make a change. Are you super happy, fully empowered? What did you learn about sex in sex ed? That's something I ask almost all my guests. And the answer is usually, I learned nothing, or I would go to hell for having it.
Wow.
That's really the range. 1 or 2 people were raised in sex-positive homes. But for the most part, I think that's really important. And to talk about our journeys, share. You don't have to be as public as me. But I think we can learn a lot from each other and from just looking inward. And if you're fixating on, dieting is so horrible for your body image and for your sex drive. It's actually tanks your libido. Doing anything that's really restrictive diet-wise will make it almost impossible to have a gratifying sex life. So really nourishing yourself, listen to your body. I like intuitive eating.
Yeah.
That's a good approach.
Like this dish is going to be very good for your sexuality.
Yes, it is.
Spicy and it's already smelling so good.
And it's beautiful, these colors.
It is really pretty. It looks spicy. It looks like rah, rah,
it
rah,
does.
rah, 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 boom, right?
So another cheater question. Could you use diced in a can? Like organic
Okay,
diced?
so it's actually really funny that you asked that, because as I was making this lesson, I thought, you know what? You could use diced tomatoes. I would drain them. Okay. And it actually would probably add kind of a more, not maybe smoky, but it adds, using, So you definitely could, and it would probably taste just as delicious. You could definitely use canned as well. I love that, a little cheater.
I know.
I love that.
Well, just because I enjoy cooking, but I don't have kids, and I can't even imagine, you're so busy, but you are so wonderfully skilled at cooking. I'm okay at it, but no, you are. But I just when I'm really busy, it'll keep me from cooking.
Yes,
If it's like,
easier.
I have to chop that thing.
You know what? You're right. So use the can, like seriously, and
Yeah.
it does. It really, I think it wouldn't change the flavor at all.
Okay. Good to know.
So now I'm peeling, or not peeling. I'm seeding a lemon. This is how I cut a lemon to get the juice out, and I learned this from Spork Foods, which if you follow me, you know they're one of my favorite cooking duos. They teach cooking classes in Hollywood, and they're vegan chefs, and they're sisters, and they're awesome. I love them. And so they taught me. You basically you go and you turn the. I think I need to sharpen my knives a little bit. You turn the lemon as you're cutting it, and see how the seeds are just right there. You can just and then on these you don't even have them at all, and you just can squeeze. Now pretend again we're on open fire here, and this is sizzling, and it's just it actually does smell really good. It just
it does.
It's the raw part of it, but whatever. Okay, and then we're just gonna take some vegan Worcestershire sauce. So I don't know if you know, but Worcestershire sauce is not vegan, but it has fish something or other in it. So this is my favorite brand, again from Whole Foods. They're kind of my go-to for the vegan stuff that I need. And it's Annie's Naturals, and she does like she does non-vegan stuff too, but it's all organic and
her
very
dressings
healthy.
are really good.
Her dressings are so good, and she has some great vegan ones. So you are gonna do, let's see, what is it? I believe it was only about 2 tablespoons of this. So I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's the way I cook.
Yeah, me too.
And then
Awesome.
you're gonna mix it all around.
Do you want to hear a little
Do you
nutrition
wanna-
factoid about
Yeah.
the red pepper? Just because I love
Oh,
this.
yeah.
You might already know this, but red pepper has more vitamin C per serving than orange juice.
Really?
And orange juice is like super, super high, right?
Yes.
But orange juice is, higher in sugar, and all
I
that
was
stuff.
gonna say it has more sugar in it.
But it also has more vitamin C than the actual orange per serving. So 1/4 of a cup of a red bell pepper gives you far more than you need in a day.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
So it's great for like
Look
cold
at
season.
that.
Yeah.
So I love that we have a nutritionist here. She can give us some little fun facts here.
Yeah. I
That's
think
like my
exciting.
next thing I would love to do is learn more about the facts behind food.
Sure.
I could talk
It's
forever with
empowering.
you.
I think so. I could learn. I am learning a lot from you.
So this is when
that?
it's cooked. I made a little cooked version for everybody. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna
That
put
is beautiful.
that over there. And what you're going to do is you're going to cook up some linguine, or you could do pasta, but we're doing #GirlBonerLinguini, so we're going to make it with linguine. And you'll just cook up your linguine, and you will serve it over that. You could actually also do it over rice, too, I suppose, if you're more, that feels very Creole and Cajun to me, is some rice. And this is, you always know I love to plate things so pretty. So this is how it will look. And it's ready to serve. And that's our recipe. That's pretty much it.
I am so making this. How exciting.
Isn't it yummy?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to take a bite. You don't have to take a bite on camera, but off camera, I think we're going to go chow down right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. August, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we
This
will be over at VeegMama, and I will be participating in the Blog Fest today for sure. So come. Oh, and I was going to ask, so when people, if they want to read the post, can they go to your blog to see?
They actually go to my website.
Okay.
Which is, so augustmclaughlin.com, there's a Beauty of a Woman tab. It's the Fest page.
Okay.
It's there because there's a digital raffle.
Okay.
So basically what you do is you read the posts, and even if you didn't enter as a blogger, you can win prizes by tweeting them, commenting on them. We have amazing prizes. Amazing. We actually have some vegan lube as one of the prizes.
Ooh.
So very cool stuff. We also have a swimming suit. We have a style consultation with a Hollywood stylist.
Oh my God. Can we enter if we blog?
By blogging, you get the maximum points.
Oh, I love
it's
it.
the biggest option.
I am there.
Yeah.
Ooh, very exciting. So come check it out over at August McLaughlin. We're going to have all the links for you over at the blog and down in the YouTube link below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again on another episode of The Good Life with VeegMama. Bye.